Hello everyone, welcome to the Tristram Tavern. Sit back, relax, grab a beer if you're old enough, and grab some food and enjoy the atmosphere. I'm Flusher with Cambion Gaming, and my partner in crime here is
Martyr?
Now if you're new here, you're probably wondering what exactly we do here at Tristram Tavern. Do not fear, I will explain. Basically, I'm just going to say 10 random things, and he's either going to answer true or false with his two buzzers. Keep in mind, he has no clue of what I'm about to ask him, so he's just going on his gut reaction here, folks. So, you ready to begin?
I am ready.
To start things off, we here at Cambion Gaming will get into the beta.
More than likely. We've got several accounts hooked up to or opted in for beta invites right now. Plus, we've got a few extra chances for going to BlizzCon these past few years.
Alright, a little optimistic, okay. Next one is Diablo 3 will come out this year.
I'm going to say yes, because the last post talking about the scheduling of the Diablo 3 beta said that they were still on track for Q3 of this year for beta testing.
Alright, moving on. No hostility is a good thing.
I would say false. Mainly because there's a huge community that's into the whole PvP aspect of the game. And then a lot of people argue that Arena works just fine. But a lot of people, especially the hardcore players, liked the aspect of hostility where you would go out and just hunt players down, take their loot and all that. So I've also had fun with it in the past, so I would say that not having it in there is kind of a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one too. Because if you're not a big fan of PvP, I don't understand why you it's gonna be optional. So if you don't want to participate, I mean, I guess in D2 it wasn't really optional, but in D3 I'm thinking, if they make it optional, how is that gonna hurt the people that don't want to participate?
Exactly.
And that's also interesting. You said in D2 hardcore, you could take loot from the people that you killed. That's another aspect to have for the D3 hardcore community. We don't know yet if you die in the arena you're gonna lose your gear, or if you're gonna be able to go more than one round and at the end you'll die. So it'd just be interesting to see how that works.
Exactly, and my thought with the whole hardcore arena would be, if you're not ready to lose your character, I would say either don't make a hardcore character or don't take him into arenas. But I would agree that it should be best out of 3 matches in the arena for a hardcore player. And also another problem is we have not even seen what the normal types of death penalties are for dying in this game. Even as a regular character and non-hardcore.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing too big, probably a 10% durability or something.
Yeah, and hopefully gold matters a lot more in this one than it did in the last one.
Alright, moving on. Alright, people will be able to get rich off of the real money auction house.
I would say true if you're devoted to it, and maybe a few lucky people will be able to make some decent money off of it. I say that because there are items, or they've stated that there will be items that will have such a low drop rate that you will rarely ever see them. And if somebody gets one of those and decides to put it up on the auction house, and it is the best item you can get for a Frenzy Barbarian, then someone's more than likely going to pay money for it.
Right, but like you said though, it's going to be a rare item, so that's not going to happen very often. It might happen once or twice. So you're saying in spite of that, you're still going to be able to make decent money off of it?
I would say if you're persistent, because they have. I actually haven't looked too much into it, so I'm probably wrong here. But creating gems, you can get up to, I think it was tier 8 gems. And then you have to combine them to go up to the 16th tier, I think was the highest tier gem possible. So selling those types of gems would be able to net you good profit, so it'd pretty much just be farming and making money that way.
Yeah, I mean, assuming there's a good market assuming there's buyers out there. And the other thing I was thinking about was, how often you played World of Warcraft, right?
Yes, I have.
Like, the auction house mod?
Auctioneer, yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking, if somehow you were able to, get that, little add-on in there or whatever, or say, like, I'm not sure, they said they're not going to have add-ons, correct, or there are add-ons?
They've stated that there currently is no plans for mods or add-on support.
Okay. So my where I was going with that is I was going to say that, if you have an auctioneer mod in there and you see something that's undercut, you can just buy it and resell it, and then, I know tons of people who've made, max gold just from using the auctioneer mod. So I guess that's irrelevant, but if they do implement that in the future, I guess potentially just using that, like, you could get rich. Am I wrong, or?
That's true, but the problem there is that you would have to find items that are undercutting that you could make a decent profit off of. So there, I believe, are several different instances where they take a cut out of your actual profit, and that is for posting the item on the auction house. They will take a cut for doing that, whether it sells or not. And they will also take a cut for when it sells off of a percentage. And they will also take money for trying to transfer that money into real money.
Alright, so I see what you're saying. So you're saying all those microtransactions with the cut that Blizzard's going to take, it's just not going to be much room for profit.
It most likely won't be worth it unless someone's undercutting by a huge margin.
Alright, moving on. D3 will have a sufficient endgame upon release.
I would say true. They've obviously been working on the game for a long ass time, and even if you get bored of farming Inferno or trying to even complete Inferno, I've heard that it's going to be really hard. But you can always go into arenas and have fun that way, reroll characters, stuff like that.
Jay Wilson's philosophy of removing cool features in order to prevent esports will backfire on him.
False. I actually like the way he's going with the same mindset that was in Diablo 2, where there's the idea of they tack in the PvP aspect, but they don't balance around it. And that way they can keep it balanced for PvE and keep everybody happy that way. And that everybody knows that it's not going to be an esport, and that hopefully people don't try to turn it into one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn into an esport, but I mean, I don't really agree with this one, or with his philosophy, because I'm thinking, if, like, in the interview he said, like, we can have cool features, gambling on matches, or just, anything. Like, say you have a couple friends and you just want to put some money on the line to make it more interesting. You've been playing D3 for a year and you're just bored. I don't see how that hurts it into an esport. Like, I know it might, in the end, kind of support esports, but I mean, it's kind of, at one point, it's kind of like, come on,
Yeah, having it there and adding additional features to PvP is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And depending on the aspects that they change about it, it will more than likely not make it an esport unless they seriously start balancing the PvP. I can tell you right now that any team that wants to win a game will have a witch doctor on it, because if you have people keeping the other team away from the witch doctor, then it's pretty much game over at that point. And so that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across, is that it's totally not balanced right now. And hopefully it does balance out in the future, but not at the expense of PvE.
Alright, the removal of traits and talents was a panic move.
No, I would say false. You can tell they've been thinking about it for a long, long time, and that they've been trying to come up with alternatives to their traits and talent. And in one of the panels at BlizzCon, I believe 2010, they were talking about the types of traits and talents that there would be. and they said they don't want things like small numbers, like where you put 5 points into a skill and each point gives you 1% of crit. They want you to put 1 point into something and say, oh, here's 30% crit chance. Like, they want actual numbers changing on your screen when you put a point in.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. I like the big numbers. I just thought, like, for me, like, I love, like, customization. That's what attracted me to Diablo, is all the customization we had, and especially, like, when D3 was originally, like, planned. Like, they said we're gonna have all this customization, and I think it was a panic move. I think they should have worked, try to figure out a solution, just because people were just kind of, like, throwing all their talents into one talent. Like, I think that was kind of a panic move.
Yeah, and the problem when people throw all their points into one skill is that those are the only skills they use. There can be 20 other skills and nobody ever touches those. Like in Diablo 2 right now, I have a barbarian who's just a concentrate whirlwind barb with a few shouts. And that's four skills total that I use.
Yeah, but I think Blizzard, they're a billion-dollar company. I think they can, figure out how to make it work without, just completely removing, like, all that customization. But
well, there's still going to be the customization with runes. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
the runes change
not
skills so much. They dramatically change the skills, and like, if you've seen the whirlwind clips for each rune,
right, the runes,
like one rune shoots off tornadoes, another rune just like shoots lava everywhere. It all looks really good, and it'll look like it'll be like really fun to experiment with.
All right, next one, D3 D3 should allow, or the D3 development team should allow it to be moddable.
I would say false. Giving people too much control over the source of the game would compromise the security of it. So you would enable things like map hacks or bots and stuff like that, because you're giving them too much access, and in a way, not giving them that is sort of a security measure against it. Not to say that there aren't mods out there that aren't good, but I would say I'm against it.
I feel like they kind of closed that door with the Real Money Auction House. Next one, D3 will be the best Blizzard game to date. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I remember as a kid I played StarCraft and Diablo 2 so much, along with Warcraft. Warcraft not so much.
Try to take the nostalgia factor out of it, but
that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, I would say it's a little too early to say right now. I mean, even though I played it a few times, the demos and stuff, yeah, it definitely feels like a Diablo game, but I'm not sure if it'll be the best game ever from them. We'll have to see.
Alright, this one's a little easier. Diablo is the best IP from Blizzard. The best franchise.
That's also somewhere that's kind of hard. That's a decision that's hard to make for me.
For me, it's easy at least.
Well, I would say it's definitely up there. It's up there next to StarCraft for me, because like right now both of the stories are kind of at a standstill where there's going to be continuation of it. You just have to see the rest, and the multiplayer aspects are also up there. Like StarCraft 2 wouldn't be as big as it was if it didn't have multiplayer. Same with StarCraft 1. The amount of publicity that it gets just from having that multiplayer is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Diablo is definitely my #1, but I would actually say Warcraft for the Warcraft franchise. Going back to the RTS Warcraft, I would say that one's #2, and then for me, StarCraft is #3. So I didn't really get into much StarCraft. But anyways, I think we're out of time, so I think we should just wrap it up. Yeah, so guys, this is going to conclude this episode. I just want to thank you guys for joining us. Please excuse Martyr. He did not know the questions that were coming, so give him a little leeway on his answers, and he did a good job. That's just how we do it. We run, we gun. That's how we do it here at Cambion Gaming. Alright, well guys, thanks for joining us, and make sure you hit the subscribe button.